These are, to me, are the questions that we should be looking for or looking to ask, right? As again, opposed to jumping around. And I get it. She's a part of the, the whole D9 organization and things of that nature. Be proud of it. I think that's a great accomplishment within itself. But at the same time, let's now get away from that and the surprise of that and get into saying, what are you going to do for us? What can we get from our vote, and not just give it up willy nilly because she may be black, she may not be black, she may be Indian. Well, her daddy was there, he wasn't there. I don't care about any of those things. What is going to happen at the end of this, right? And if what she can come out and say is, I'm going to look into doing some sort of police reform, and I don't want her to promise me that she's going to do it, but at least get the ball rolling. 100%, you got me. Yeah, we're good with that. But if you're going to say you're going to get in office and just do the same thing,
they need to have details with it. Like they all of them broad stroke all of their plans. They need to have details. Like I was telling you, like with the whole plead the fifth idea for something for just for black individuals, because protections are needed for black people. Just like you have protections for the LGBTQ and the gays. The same thing needs to be done for black people. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not somebody that's 100%. Pro-black. I'm pro-individual. But I just feel like, the legitimate argument that blacks do have, but they're not making, like you said, they're not making that argument. They're complaining about her, like not being black and other things. I don't hear them saying like, Kamala, will you do this? Or what do you think about this policy? Do you think this is needed here? Blacks get pulled over disproportionately from anybody else, but yet white people have more contraband on them. That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
That's not fair. Are we going to do anything to change that or mitigate that? Those are the things I don't see people asking her. They're just more into the fact that she, I guess now I got to react to a video. One of the videos somebody sent me that where she locked up black people and black guys doing his testimony that she locked him up and things of that nature. So I got to react to those things and see what they're talking about. Objectively, I'm looking at it because, like I said, I have no horse in this game. I'm the most selfish person that I know. I'm only in for it to figure out things for myself.
Was she just walking around the streets locking up black people, or was she doing her job at the time?
Well, hey, Rob, I gotta react to the video. I gotta see. Look, I'm laughing at you because look, I'm gonna be as objective about it as possible. It's like, bro, were you selling drugs, weed? I don't care what it is. At the time, it was illegal. Like, I'm gonna be looking at it that way. But I want to see. But somebody also told me, that prosecutors, the job in itself can be a little dirty. They can do some things that are dirty and things of that nature. But it's still, because they're always trying to just see what kind of person this goes to, who our character is, what a character is. But if you're going to put a character on trial, it still seems like it's a lot better of a character than Donald Trump. So that right there, you can't go by. I don't think we can just go by that. If she'd had a little couple things and maybe a couple of cases that didn't go the way people thought it should go, I don't think she should be ridiculed or like brought to trial for those things. But I do want to see her. I do want to see her go back and forth with people that are against it, like Donald Trump did. I think that'll be good for her.
I personally, I mean, we've heard, like, the thing is, I think people want to see those debates because of its soundbite, right? And if we were to bring this full circle, these are two people who their resumes don't even match up enough for them to even be debating, right? Like, her character and her accomplishments don't lead for her to even be in the same room with the Donald Trump in the sense of debating him or going toe to toe with him intellectually, right? This is a man who is now going to use disrespect as a means of debating her, right? And regardless of what her response is, we are going to vilify her. So if she responds in kind to him when he's disrespectful, if she disrespects him back, then she's going to be the angry black woman. If she doesn't respond to him in kind, then it's going to be like she's too timid.
But Rob, I agree with you. I agree with you. But the problem is, I believe, like I said, no stake in the game, no horse in the game, however you want to put it. I don't give a flying whatchamacallit. I'm going to win anyway. That's the way I look at it. So I'm being objective. I ain't voting for none of them. However, Donald Trump held himself really well to me when those three women were grilling him and they railroaded him.
How did they railroad him?
As soon as it started, like, it was just straight boom, 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 boom. This, that. I agree with Trump there. That it was like, whoa, come on. I wanted the interview to go a little bit different. Like I said, I wanted the questions to be a little bit more detailed and force him to get into detail because he was willing to talk. He conducted himself very well. And so did the lady on the other end. on the opposite end, which interviewed him before. He conducted himself very well. And I know people who, I'm not a Trump fan, I'm not saying it, but he conducted himself to me very well. And I would like to see Kamala under that same pressure, but 3 people who clearly are not on her side, and see how she handles that. I haven't seen it yet. Maybe because I didn't look for it. I haven't seen it yet. But you see, he's willing to debate now. And I think the reason is because of that, the what he had just a few days ago with the 3 black women from the DNC, I believe it was, with the black journals.
Well, here's my thing. I 100% will give Trump credit. I think Trump, from the last time, from his last presidency and how he conducted himself to now, yes, maybe he has a coach, maybe somebody out there is helping him, understand what it is that he can do and can't do, or what he can say and can't say. So as far as how he performed, yeah, 100%, he is better. But is he the epitome of what I would want a leader to be? No. Have the same way that I think the Republicans get on the Democrats, I think the Democrats should get on the Republicans. A lot of times I don't think they put out their best person. So as far as being articulate and being able to compose himself, I don't think most of the Republicans that came before could necessarily say that about themselves, right? People used to say that George Bush was dumb, or that he got in via nepotism. Trump himself, I think he's one of those people who he kind of speaks first and then he thinks later. I don't think anybody railroaded him, right? I think he went into a situation knowing exactly what it was, right? He knew that these women were going to ask him questions.
He didn't. He thought he was going to be there with Kamala and people against him.
The journalist, I don't think he went into a area that you knew was going to be hostile. You knew that they were going to be volatile, right? You knew that they weren't your supporters. So anything that you got out of that situation is what you got. How you handled yourself is something different. And I mean, I think both parties do the same thing. They go in areas and try to recruit people. So obviously you're going to go in areas where people don't necessarily understand you or understand your point of view.
He was there by himself, bro. He looked like an old man walking into an arena full of black people, and I was like,
my issue politically, though, is people educating themselves. So my issue right now is that I see and hear a bunch of people who hate both parties. You hate Kamala for whatever your reason is. People hate Trump for whatever their reason is. But the issue is that a lot of people can't tell you politically why they dislike the person. What is Trump's stance on certain things? What is he doing? I think that the biggest talking point now is everybody keeps talking about this Project 2025 and who supposedly wrote it and the things that are in it. And I get it, right? For those that have read through it and you're educated on it, great. If you feel like that's something that Trump is a part of, great. If you don't feel like it, great. Again, my thing is just educate yourself on it and not simply hate a person because you were just told to hate them. Not hate them because you've now made him, our modern day Lex Luthor or, whatever villain you want to make him out to be, right? Without first kind of hearing him out. Because I've said this before, but I feel like if Trump was to come to an urban area with a cure for cancer and he handed it to somebody with cancer, there's a majority of people who would not take it simply because of who's giving it to them, right? So he can have the cure for your illness, but you wouldn't take it because of who it's coming from. A lot of times, does he say things that are uncouth? 100%. Is he a person who I would want to represent me? No, and that's just me personally, right? But at the same time, I am willing to listen to him and hear what he has to say. And I'm not just going to jump on the bandwagon and say, well, hey, a Democrat said go left, so we're all going to go left. Because we also have to understand that people who we thought were in our favors or in our good graces have led us astray also. So let's be honest about that too, and not just make it seem like, this man is just here to
and check this out. But before you finish, Trump, like I said, at least I can have an idea where he's going with his stuff. I can have an idea what he wants to do. I can have an idea. I don't really hear explicitly Kamala talking about what she's going to do. And maybe that's because all of the information, the algorithm is only sending me Donald Trump stuff and Donald Trump news. But I need to get her sound bites of exactly what she's going to do. Donald Trump said, like, drill, baby, drill. You already know what his motive is. Money, money, money. We're going to bring some money into the economy. We're going to flood this thing with money, deregulation, and all of these other public government benefits that people were able to use and take advantage of because they needed it. We're going to limit some of those things and put money and allocate money in different places, like border situation, different things of that nature. I haven't heard Kamala come out with a stance that was definitive about anything
at all.
And that's my issue.
And if she has, the thing is that nobody has been able to come out and say, well, okay, this is how she, because we've taken little sound bites and we've ran with all the sensationalized stuff. So we've turned politics into Love and Hip Hop, Real Housewives of wherever, right? So now it's a him versus her. Ooh, girl, did you hear what they said? No, you didn't hear what they said because you were focused on him saying that she's uneducated or her calling him a name. But like you said, there's nothing about policy. What about the policy? What is it that they're saying that you're going to now turn around and say, this makes sense. This is going to affect me. This is going to affect me negatively. This is going to affect me positively, right? No, it's just literally about, oh, he said something stupid. Oh, Trump is dumb. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, but what did he say after that? You're telling me a whole 2-hour speech?
Right.
You took 3 words and that's it for the whole 2. You knew nothing else about what he said after that? Oh, did you hear how he mispronounced that word? He's so dumb. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, cool. But what else is he talking about? Oh, I don't know. Because he said something stupid, and I just felt like we should laugh about that for the rest of our lives. Yet, you have people who were literally sitting here and they're saying, like, I know Trump at one point in time, he made reference to saying he was saying, Christians, I want you guys to understand, I just need you to vote right now, because after you vote, you'll never have to vote again. So for me, my question is, well, are you saying that you're going to turn this into a dictatorship? Is this one of those situations where now you're letting everybody know that once you win, that's it? What happened to when your supporters, storm the Capitol, right? You have literally not apologized for it, right? But are we going to make sure that stuff like that never happens again? When you have a sitting politician who's basically stating to you, win, lose, or if you guys lose, or if the Republicans lose, that they're not going to take it sitting down, again, sounds to me like what happened with the Capitol was just practice. Like, what do you got? What do they plan on doing now, right? When you see them kind of setting up, like, I don't know if anybody else sees it, but it almost looks like we're right on the cusp of war, right? And we're getting ourselves together for war. So what happens to that, right? For me, I have 3 sons who I'm worried about as far as a draft or them pulling them into something that they don't have anything to do with, right? So when I speak about these things and I ask about what people's policies are and things of that nature, it's because I have skin in this game, right? Mm-hmm. Because I have children that I need to protect. I have a family that I need to protect. So what happens? I can't have because somebody's feelings are hurt or because you want to have a dick measuring contest with somebody. Somebody decides to come and drop a nuke or Pearl Harbor some shit or do something where there are casualties. And what I've always noticed is when there's casualties, it never affects the politicians. It never affects them, right? Nobody's going to a 9/11 memorial and saying, hey, this sitting politician's daughter, son, aunt, uncle were involved in any of this shit, right? So while we're playing the politics game and the red versus blue and me versus you, right? There's some real shit that comes behind it. And this is why people are upset about it, right? I don't want to play your D9 games. I don't give a fuck about what she decided to pledge, didn't pledge. I don't care whether her mother is Indian or her father is black or Jamaican. I could care less. What's going to happen in 4 years? In 4 years, 2 years when my son graduates high school, are you going to be looking to pull him into the military? And what are you looking to pull him into the military for? Are you looking to pull him in there because you want him to be a casualty, right? Are you looking to hand me a folded flag later on and say, I'm sorry for your loss, as you and the person who you claim to be fighting against go to dinner? What tends to happen after this, right? What happens to these urban areas where now you're starting to see places that people wouldn't drive through before? Now I'm starting to see people coming in and investing big money into these places. What's going to happen with that? What's going to happen to your subsidized housing when they build up this skyscraper of a building, right? And people who are paying $5,000 a month for rent don't want to live next to your ghetto fish frying ass. What's going to happen to you? And where do they plan on putting you?
Mm.
Did anybody think about it? No, because right now, all it's about is Meg Thee Stallion is going to be on stage at her next thing, and we're going to be all out there, and we're going to be shaking ass, and let's see if we can get her to twerk a little bit. And if she twerks and if she says, yo, what's up? Or if she says, wagwan, then all of a sudden you're going to have Caribbeans voting for her. You're going to have people in urban areas voting for her. And we get completely nothing out of the deal at the end of it.
Right. And the crazy thing is, I came to that conclusion a long time ago. And that's why I told you I'm into like rational selfishness. And I just like to be, if I'm not selfish, that's not good. I'm trying to be as rationally selfish as possible. And I learned this a long time ago.
So.
Check this out. Reading this book. It's called The End of Power by Moises Naim. I hope I pronounced his name right. I started reading that a long time ago. And that made me get big on the individual. Bro, nobody has no power. Like at the end of the day, that's why I said, and I had that sentiment and I thought about it. And maybe that's why I came up on my social media and I saw a feed talking about the rich don't care. It's not only do the rich don't care. And this is my thing. I understand there probably are some rich that care. Not only don't the rich care, but the people who are financially savvy and figured out a way, they're sitting back and just waiting to see what their next move is going to be. Just like gamifying things like I do. They're sitting back to see what the next move is going to be. I just like to talk about this objectively and this like kind of like to start the conversation. You know, Trump has said some things, outlandish things, but at least he said some things. I haven't heard anything like from Kamala at all, like that I can even sit here and make a video about. I haven't made no videos about Kamala because there's nothing to it. I don't want to make a video about who she slept with. Like you said, I'm like you with that. I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
I want to give a big I told you so to all the people when initially, I know, and I'm just going to say a lot of people with common sense were saying Joe Biden shouldn't run. I don't think Joe Biden is the best person to represent us. And it was like, well, you got to pick him because he's the only one. You don't have to. Stop allowing people to get you in this mindset and think that you have to. You got to pick this person because, well, that's the only person that we put up there. No, that's the only person you put up there. Because I can think of many people who have a resume that would be able to go up against anybody that the Republican Party put up and be able to win. The problem is that we're not putting people up by their work. We're putting them up by their popularity, right? And I'm not saying that that's the case for Kamala because, like you said, I don't know, right? But what I do know is that at that point in time when we were saying Joe Biden was not the best person, everybody was making it seem like we were dumb or, no, you got to vote for him. This is the end of days. Like, first of all, y'all can miss me with that bullshit right there. Stop trying to guilt me into shit. Oh, this is the end of the days and they're going to take us back to slavery. Well, you shouldn't have allowed your party to put you in that position. Why the hell are you going to tell me now we only got 100 days? That's poor planning on your part. Poor planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. You now waited until this man, you knew this man, mentally his capacities were already failing in the job that he's in. So we're not even going to talk about the fact that as of right now, mentally you know that he's not full-fledged where he's supposed to be. And you still have him doing the job, right? But you also put him up as the next candidate, right? And because people were skeptical of it, and thank God for social media, right? But because people were skeptical of it, then you tried to make it say, oh, Trump going to take us back to slavery. Oh, you don't know what's going to happen if you don't do it. I do know what's going to happen if I don't do it. I don't want to vote for this person. This person is not the best representation of me. So now, because everybody was calling them to the carpet, it was like, okay, we got to get him out of here. Let's put Kamala up. But if Kamala is as great as you're saying that she is now, right? And again, I'm not arguing with anybody on whether she is or whether she's not. Why didn't you recognize that in the beginning? Because if she's what you're saying she is now, she was that 100 days ago, 200 days ago. She should have been the nomination. She should have been the person that you put up, regardless of hurting anybody's feelings. You should have said, you know what, Joe? Thank you so much for your service, but she's the one that I'm going with. This is the horse that I'm hitching my saddle to. You didn't do that though. You said, you know what, Kamala, Joe's in power, so you're just gonna have to bide your time and wait. Why should we have to wait? Especially if you're telling me that this is how important this is and how, you know, you got to make the right decision, because if you don't, you know, the fate of the world is in your hands. But you were willing to put a person who obviously seems like they're senile, obviously is going through some sort of mental health issue. You were willing to put them up, but now you're telling me that Trump is the person who is going to take this country to its knees.
one could argue, could they try to say, they try to say that Kamala was a DEI hire, right? One could say that Joe Biden was a DEI fire, like non-fire. Like he should have been out a long time ago, but you don't want to make somebody feel bad because they're getting old and they're getting senile. That's not right to just kick them out. You can't just fire I'm about to say a name that I actually know, and I don't want to say that. You can't fire Patricia in flooring because she's old.
You can't fire her because
she got a job. She got kids. But you can't just fire her because she's old.
But then if you're not up to par, or if you're not able to facilitate the job correctly, right? Then let's be honest. Firing a person because they're old is one thing, right? That 100% is ageist and all. I get it. But if you're not able to do the job due to your age, right? Then let's all be honest. What is the purpose of you just holding up the spot simply because you're there?
But let me ask you
something. And a lot of people are doing that.
Fired on that. If you take an old person that's working in flooring, we're going to use that example. They're working in flooring, they're getting old, and they're getting senile slightly, but they're trying the hardest they can try. This is a democratic world. They're not getting fired. Who's going to come in and fire? It's going to take a whole different regime to come in. The man is going to get somebody else to fire him. But the person there in that community, they're not firing that person.
But that's why you have a committee, right? And as a committee, you should be able to step in and say, hey, again, thank you for your service. We appreciate it. But being the face of this organization, being a person who is responsible, because here's all of the things that people are talking about. Oh, she's a female. What, if she has to hit the button and she's going to be all emotional. Here's a person, right? Because we've all dealt with somebody that has Alzheimer's or dementia or whatever the case is, right? If this person does not fully have their capacity, right? This is why we have a vice president, somebody that should be able to step up and now do the job. And to me, if the Democratic Party was even remotely thinking, now is the time to say to Joe, step back, allow her to do the job so people can see her literally doing the job. So when she comes out, she doesn't have to say, hey, Ronald, when I get this job, I promise I'm going to do a good job, because Ronald could literally see her and say, you know what, for the last 100 days, she's been doing a great job. She's made actual changes or something. Instead, we're trying to save somebody's feelings. And that's the problem. Right. You shouldn't care about their feelings. Right. Okay. Did it hurt your feelings? Okay. I'm sorry that it hurt your feelings. But was I right?
Yes. That's what I'm trying to say. It's funny how
I need to ask you guys a question about this DEI thing, right? Why is it that, and I don't know if the Republicans created it or the Democrats, but
it seems like a Democratic thing, big time.
Why is it that the upper echelon has created something and then we're going to make it seem like it's a negative? So here's my question. If DEI is such a bad thing, right? First of all, you didn't create it out of nowhere. You created it because there was a need for it. Just like welfare and things of that nature. But my issue is that you create it and then make fun of the people who benefit from it. So what was the point of creating it only to then turn around and make it seem like it's a bad thing? Ha, we only hired you because we had to. Ha, you're racist. Ha, you're sexist. What do you mean? Nobody would have to create the rule if you were just being fair. If you were living by the rules and regulations of the system, we wouldn't need these things. If you didn't hire your dumbass son, who has zero education, such as a person who's running for office, if you didn't allow nepotism to be the only reason, or to hurt feelings to be the only reason why you didn't make the decisions that you were making, we wouldn't be in these situations. For me to see qualified women have to take a back seat to dumbass men, right? And then we turn around and make these claims or laugh at these people. How are you laughing at something that you created, right? How is it baffles me to see a Republican tell someone, if you don't like the rules, you should go back to your country. This is the greatest country in the world. Yet, when you don't like the rules of something, you literally complain and cry and bitch and moan about it and talk about how it needs to change. I thought this was the greatest country. Why do we need to make it great again? Wasn't it already great? According to you, it's the greatest country. So how can we make it great again? When did it stop being great? Did it stop being great when you weren't able to physically force yourself onto people? Was it great when you weren't able to physically force your ways on?
Bro, it was great. It was great when the country was white as hell, bro. The country's turning colors. That's the problem. All of the European people that came in, that it was great for them. It wasn't great for us ever.
When you make up rules and so for me, the reason why this whole Kamala thing doesn't make any sense is because it's the same thing. It's the same playbook they did with Barack, right? Oh, he was never born here. He was born in Africa. Then you're telling me your vetting process sucks that much that a person who wasn't born in this country somehow managed to make it to not only put in an application to run for president, but actually made it on the ballot?
Yeah.
That means your country has a whole different set of issues than anything else. If he literally was born in another country and managed to make it on the ballot, that means your country is not as great as you're saying it is.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to turn around and say, well, she's not black. Okay, I'm not voting for her because she's black. Oh, well, she's Indian. Okay, great. Well, she slept her way to the top.
It seems as though one could argue, right? Because it seems, well, this is an easy argument because people are going to have problem with people anyway. But one could argue that there could be a candidate that is perfect for blacks that they'll still have an issue with.
Because you're black.
Just because you're black. Yeah, just because you're black. Bro, that's this conditioning, man.
I'll give you something.
We got to change the conditioning of that.
I'll give you something to Google right now. Emmett Till. We all remember the story of Emmett Till, right?
Right.
He was a young boy who allegedly had whistled at a white woman, right? Who she ended up retracting her story and all that other stuff later on, right? There is some sort of memorial set up to him where I think it's like a street sign. It's a sign that has his name on it. Do you know that there are people who literally go to this site every year and shoot at it just to deface it, and they have to replace it? They're literally, this is decades later, after this young man has been murdered, hung, or whatever the case is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That still at this time and place, there's still people who go there to deface his, well, I don't want to call it a shrine, but to deface this thing in honor of him, right? That's to show you how bad the hatred is, right? There are people who will, this is why I didn't feel like the whole kneeling thing for George Floyd was in honor of George Floyd. And honestly, I felt like that was their way of covertly making fun of the situation, right? It didn't make sense to me. But keep in mind, there's a couple of things that don't make sense to me. Christian, what doesn't make sense to me is that Jesus died on a cross, and you wear a cross around your neck. Doesn't make any sense, right? So when you kill the man by kneeling on his neck, right, and then to show solidarity, you all got down on one knee. You weren't showing solidarity to the man that was being knelt on.
That's the comedy. That's the comedy in you. That's the comedy. No, but I get it. No, it's the comedy.
I'm not joking though.
No, I know you're not joking, but to kneel is also, and also, we also use kneeling for other things, a lot of other things also. It just so happens that the person kneeled down and put his knee in the dude's neck.
Bullshit. Because
that's not, why would you put why is that a signal?
Nope.
That's not the signal we get down and kneel.
Prior to that, there was a football player who was kneeling, and y'all made that, and you made that man the worst person in the world. He couldn't play football again. He was the worst person in the world for kneeling, right? Yet you now turned around, and the same people that called him a piece of shit for kneeling turned around and decided to take a knee for the same amount of time it took to kill the black man, and then you're telling me that you did it in solidarity of the black man. Fuck that. You want to show me solidarity? If somebody kneeled on me for almost 8 minutes, right, and killed me, you want to show solidarity, stand your ass up, walk to your office and create a policy that won't allow this to happen anymore. Take your ass to work, right, and get that man's daughter a scholarship or something to make sure that she goes to school, right, and becomes a lawyer or whatever it is that she wants to be, that so that she can make sure that these things never happen again, right? Instead, what they did was they went back to, him and his pregnant girlfriend had a fight. He used to be late in high school. He had 3 parking tickets and a speeding ticket. And you just, because the thing is, just because he's black, it's impossible for him to just be a victim, which is why they tell you that you need to forget about slavery. Let's not talk about those things. Why y'all keep harping on it, right? But you will never forget about Pearl Harbor. We will continuously live that shit for as long as you want to, right? We will forever live Vietnam. We will relive all of those things that you want to relive, but anything that makes you look bad, we are now supposed to just overlook it. It's cool, right? So no, again, I did not look at that shit as it was a badge of honor, or you were kneeling in solidarity with us, because bitch, I wasn't kneeling with you. I'm not getting down there because that man had no business with his knee on anybody's throat. But to help prove me wrong, right? you guys that live in different areas from Irvington to East Orange, anywhere, because I know that shit went global. All of these towns have painted Black Lives Matter in the center of their town, right? Go to your township center right now and tell me how that Black Lives Matter sign looks. Did they go back over it with some paint? Did they make sure that when they did the line,
it's still there?
that they
It's
put
still
that
there. I see it in Maplewood. It's still there.
Do you see it? Because I drive past it every day, and I know that shit is faded.
I
know that so many cars drive over it. It might say Black Lives Matter,
yeah,
but a lot of it is gone. Especially, and you know why?
I don't like the idea. I don't like the idea personally.
You know why I know Maplewood is messed up too? Because people went to Maplewood and purposely went there and messed it up. They went there and threw paint on it and all that other stuff.
You know,
because
I think they might have colors. Maybe they might have like African colors near their flag, near the Black Lives Matter thing. I think because I saw it, I'm like, oh snap! They still doing that.
Ronald has a problem with the Black Lives Matter on the ground, right? Yeah. But Maplewood has a whole 4 corners, right, of gay pride right in front of City Hall. So that walkway in front of City Hall is a whole rainbow gay pride. Woohoo!
Yeah, but Black Lives Matter is like, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of it. It's a Marxist thing. My thing is make policies, make Black policies, especially just for Black people. Not look, hear me out. It's gonna sound crazy. No one else but Black people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't hide this behind like what's the word? Different movements where other people can get involved in the civil rights movement. No. This is a thing specifically for Black individuals. Then I can go ahead and side with that and get with that because I understand. Because like I said, I don't want to get pulled over by the police disproportionately all the time just because I'm Black. I want to have something I can be able to say like X, Y, and Z, or I plead the I bleed whatever. Like you can't even say Black Lives Matter. What the hell is that? Like, you know,
just wear a shirt underneath it, and then when they pull you over, you can just rip it open and it says Black Lives Matter, and you can be like, "Oh, my bad." Okay, all right, I'll give you one. Get one of those like Uno reverse cards, and you get like 3 of them for the year, and you get to play it. So if you get pulled over and it's just one of them days, and you just don't fit, you could just like, boom, here's my Black card, and then the cop got to be like, "Damn it,
he used the Black card."
Sure, like you just did
the Black card. We can call it the Black card. We can go to the Black card.
Drive-by. Yeah. You did a drive-by. The cops are behind you, right? And you just like.
And then, but now the cops can say, we're still going to do plural call. We see a Black card, but X, Y, and Z. Basically, for something like that, the drive-by is too much. That's too extreme. You did a little.
Ronald West is using his Black card.
You get a drive-by. You get everything. Nope. Look, you did it. Hear me out. I seen you do a drive-by. I'm pulling your ass over. You're in trouble. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about people that's driving down the street.
Just a traffic infraction.
It's a traffic infraction. Okay. You can tell them like, I have my Black card, and then they go look at your Black card,
and then he radios back and he goes, I have Ronald West here. He's using his Black card, and then the dispatch is going to come back and go, he's used that twice already. This is going to be his 3rd time. Can you inform him? And then he's going to be like, Mr. West, I can either give you this speeding ticket, or you can.
You're joking. This sounds really good. And it's only, hear me out. It's only for Black people. And if anybody gets upset, here's the excuse. Not the excuse, here's the explanation. Black people get pulled over disproportionately from anybody else. No other race, color, creed.
What about Latinos?
Black people.
What about like Afro Latinos?
This is not the Afro Latinos. This is not the civil rights movement.
But what about Afro Latinos? What about a Dominican who looks like me and you? Well, I mean, you're licensed. So what about a Dominican that looks like me?
They can't get a Black card.
Okay.
You know why? Because look, Rob. Then we're doing like the civil rights movement. Then it becomes for everybody that comes in. No, this is specifically for Black.
Can Kamala get a Black card?
Yeah, she can get a Black card.
Because her father's Black.
Because her father's Black.
What about if her mother was Black and her father was white?
The Afro Dominican you were talking about. So somebody he's just a Dominican.
I'm just asking you a question. I mean, I'm just asking you a question because now you took him out the mix. No, so I'm saying can a person who's biracial get a Black card, or do they get like a do they get like a half and half card? Like is it like a Arnold Palmer card? Like a
no, they get a Black card. They get a Black card.
Oh, they get a Black card. Okay, cool.
There's got to be a. I mean, I get what you're saying because you look at somebody. They do get a Black card. Look, you take it like, say if Steph Curry didn't play basketball, you can have a kid like that get pulled over and the cops treating him a certain way because he's Black. Like, yeah, he looks like he could be white, but he's not white. He's Black, so he gets a Black card. If Steph Curry get a Black card If you're
But
black and you got
does
black
he
parents, you get the
does
black
he
card.
speak well? Does he speak well for a black person?
Still get the black card.
Okay.
Think
Cool.
about it.
All
And I
right.
like the idea you said that. Like you're saying it like, look, you
No, I'm
tell
just
them,
joking, but I know.
you know how you pull out the police card when you got the police card. So you pull out the black card. And like you said, they dispatch or tell them like, yeah, this black card hasn't been used in 6 months. This is the first time use. So
First infraction.
First infraction. Now you got to go to protocol. So you think a white person is going to complain? You think somebody, oh, yo, a white person's getting pulled over because you did some shit wrong, bro. That's why you get more contraband when you pulled over white people. That's crazy.
Gotcha.
Black person me and you getting pulled over just because we got locks. You know that. Wrong day, we got locks, we getting pulled over in Maplewood. Whoop. You're getting pulled over. And then we can both pull out our black card and say, hey, how you doing, Officer Jenkins? Look, you're getting pulled up by your own people. How you doing?
Officer
I got my own, I got my black card with me. And you have to have the black card with you. You heard? Hey, Rob, you got no, hear me out. You got to.
You can't say you left it at home.
Card. No, you got to apply for your black card. That's how you know. Because think about it. When you apply for the black card now, you also know as a citizen, like, oh, damn, there's a responsibility with this thing. Because I only have this card because of the disproportionate times that my people get pulled over and the way my people are treated when it comes to police infractions. So I got my black card on me. So boom. So not only do you need to have it in your wallet, you probably need to have it around your neck too. You need to probably wear it around your neck.
Like a badge.
Like a badge. Like, yo, no, real talk, like a badge, but only for black people because the disproportionate times we get pulled over and fucked over when it comes to police situations. And the 356 year held back we've been because the head start that everybody else has gotten. That's all. Those are facts. And I'm not even a pro-black dude.